On our last trip to Great Basin National Park, we decided to take a little bit of a side trip to visit Gandy Warm Spring. In this video, we won't be showing you exactly how to get to the warm spring because that is part of the adventure. But just know that you are going to be driving on about 30 miles of dirt roads. And these dirt roads are very silty. The entire back of our Jeep was covered in a layer of fine dust. While I wouldn't necessarily say that a four-wheel drive vehicle is necessary for this adventure, the road does get a little bit bumpy as we get closer to the springs, so a little bit of ground clearance will be helpful. However, if you also want to visit the nearby Devil's Gate Slot Canyon, you will need four-wheel drive, and you can see that in next week's video. Here we are arriving at the springs, and I will say that it is a pretty shocking thing to see in the middle of the open desert. Even though it is called a warm spring, the average temperature of the water is around 80 degrees. And this was absolutely perfect because the temperature was around 90 degrees when we were visiting, so this felt incredibly refreshing. However, if you're visiting during the winter, it's not going to be the same experience as it would be visiting a hot spring.
So this spot is really cool. Obviously, 3 waterfalls at the moment. And we had heard about some caves here, and I saw some up on the hillside up there. You can't see them from down here. And I was like, yeah, we'll go in those. And little did I know, no, they meant that cave. So, I don't know if I'm going to be beamed to another dimension or go to the center of the earth, but here we go.
Going into the cave was equal parts thrilling and slightly creepy. Just when we thought we reached the back, we saw that there was a tiny little hole that led to more chambers. If you plan on visiting, you definitely need to bring a flashlight because with all the twists and turns, the cave goes in probably around 30 feet. Eventually, it's almost going to be pitch black with the exception of the glowing teal water. We also highly recommend wearing water shoes because the floor is really rocky. One of the biggest challenges that we had, aside from trying not to bump our heads, was keeping the camera lenses dry. The ceiling is constantly dripping inside the cave, and it feels like you're caught in a rainstorm. Something really cool that we found in here was that there were cave formations, just like the ones that we found in the nearby Lehman Cave. This may not be a great activity for you if you are claustrophobic. I'm not going to lie, there were a couple of times where I had to take a deep breath because I felt the nerves starting to kick in. But it was so unbelievably beautiful in there that those feelings only lasted short bursts and I was able to get back into the moment. Something that was incredible about this spot was just how pristine it was, everything from the water to the surroundings. So if you do visit, please help keep it this way. Be sure to pick up all of your trash, and heck, if you want to help, pick up any trash that you find there as well. At the end of the cave, there is one more room that is tucked around a left corner. It's kind of funny because there is a window in between the 2 rooms, so if you send someone around, you can see each other. As we explored the cave even further, I swore that I could hear rushing water. And that's when we looked over and noticed that not only are there 3 waterfalls outside, but there's 1 waterfall inside as well. I know that they say that you're not supposed to dip your head underwater at the springs, but luckily we had our cameras with us and they took the swim for us. It's crazy to see just how clear the water is. We spent a ton of time in the cave, and it was just one of those spots that you really don't want to leave. But we still wanted to visit that slot canyon, so eventually it was time to head out. But on our way out, we decided why not turn off the lights for a little bit, and that's when we were treated to this blue water. If you enjoy exploring wild caves, we highly recommend checking out the Go Shoot Cave. While it doesn't have picturesque teal water, it is massive and there is tons to see in there. If you aren't done exploring yet, there is a pool upstream and you can also follow the river downstream as well. We spent way too much time in the cave on this visit, but we'll check them out next time. And that is going to do it for our visit to the amazing Gandy warm spring. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because it really helps out the channel. If you have any other springs that you think we should stop by and check out, let us know in the comments below. And for more information about Gandy Warm Spring and other awesome Nevada adventures, head on over to 𝐿𝑖𝐍𝑒𝑇HADventure.com.